So I'll start the recording and then Arash, you can take over.
Hey Chris, how you doing, man? Nice to meet you.
Good. Yeah, nice to meet you.
Yeah, my name's Arash Madani. I'm actually a sports broadcaster, Chris. So,
Okay.
yeah, up until 2 years ago, I knew nothing about your industry. I've teamed up with the CXO folk, and I feel like I've gotten a crash course, almost like an executive MBA in AI, generative AI, cybersecurity, cyber attacks. Gotten to meet a number of the vendors, ChatGPT, and just kind of I've learned so much. My role next Thursday is to host and to just moderate panels. There's a morning panel, there's an afternoon panel. I know you just mentioned you'd be
Yeah.
on the afternoon.
Yeah.
So my role is to kind of direct traffic and make our conversation as conversational as possible.
Okay.
Uh, I've found the last 5 years since the pandemic hit, so often we live in what I call a Zoom culture where people are now just tired. They speak their piece for 5 minutes, then they turn off their camera and mute their mic and move on with it. I'm trying to make this old school where we actually listen to each other and finish each other's sentences.
All
So,
right. I
uh,
like that.
yeah, so this call is more for our benefit, so I can get a little bit of thought process on how you see the world. And so when we're sitting up there, if one of your fellow panelists says something, I'm like, that's interesting because when I talked to Chris, he said something similar, although it was a little different in his sector. And that's what it's for. It's just to
Okay.
make the day a lot better. And the group is just recording this. They might take a clip or two and put it on the LinkedIn page. But this is more just to make the day better. And like I do a lot of these events, and this is one of the real good ones. So I think we're in for a real treat. Um,
Nice.
I was snooping on your LinkedIn page. That was me. Um, Two things stood out. One professionally, one something else I'll get to in a sec. But I see you're present with Gobble and Sunbasket. How would you like me to introduce you when you kind of come up?
Well, I guess the parent company that we have is called Intelligent Foods. So what happened was Gobble and Sunbasket merged at the Q4, end of Q3 2022. So I've
Got it.
been with Gobble from, basically day one um through the 9 years. And then when we merged with Sunbasket, I took over Sunbasket CTO as well. And then we created this parent company called Intelligent Foods, which actually, like, what we did was we extracted the manufacturing and fulfillment as its own business. So we kind of, you can think like we have these two brands, Gobble and Sunbasket, and then we have this um, company that makes all the food and ships it out the door. So it's like I'm technically CTO of three different business entities right now.
Hmm. I hear you. You know, it's interesting. My lovely and much more intelligent partner, my lady friend Sandra, she is the senior director. No, she's VP now. I should know this. VP of operations, logistics, procurement at HelloFresh.
Oh,
So,
okay. Our
yeah,
main competitor.
there you go. There you go. So, if you're ever looking for a convo, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, you know who to come to.
That's
Um,
awesome. Okay.
Well, this is a great place to start then for our conversation because we talk about leadership and buy-in and getting staff on board. Um, and I want to get into the AI piece in a sec, but when a merger happens, everyone's on edge. How did you, what are the processes of navigating this to make sure the collective is, I don't know, focused, eyes on the prize, not looking over their shoulder. How have you kind of gone about that?
Well, that's been like a quite a journey, I
I
guess. So
bet.
it's always interesting when two competitors merge because the I was like injected as a foreign entity into this new company. And then of course the first thing we did was a massive layoff. So I literally interviewed everyone at the company for 15 to 30 minutes, depending on their position, and then had to be part of the small group of people who made a decision on who stayed and who goed, or who stayed and who was let go.
Yeah.
So that was interesting because it's really hard to build trust with people when you come in and you do that to start. So that was how it all started. Then after that, I was given a team. Um, in I mean, my title is CTO. Technically, I lead all of our like digital experience, which includes marketing and customer support. And but the core stuff is the engineering team, data science, business intelligence, like analytics. So coming in, I had to sort of figure out how to get this new team of engineers to trust me. And that was, it was interesting. So I was, at the time, I was part of this group called Enrich, which is just like a mastermind kind of online Zoom call thing for like different executive groups. So I went to them first, just, a bunch of other CTOs, and got a lot of like their experience. Some of them had been through acquisitions, some hadn't, but some had done like a lot of team stuff. It was really good to get some feedback there. And I got some really good feedback. And some of the big stuff was just like being being honest was like number one. Like, not, people can tell when you're trying to like sell them a half truth, or like, not giving them the full
You're not
story.
authentic.
So yeah, so I definitely focused on letting people in, and getting them to see me as someone that they could like come to trust over time. Um, Another thing was to sort of earn respect by showing them that like not only am I in this like executive position, I can write code with the best of them, and I can speak their language. A lot of, when you get into these levels, sometimes the CTO is just so divorced from what's actually happening in the code, in like the general like system architecture. It's just about like managing the P&L and the people and stuff. So I wanted to make sure that I showed them that I'm one of them, or like I was. That's where I started. That's like, that's my bread and butter. And just kind of show them that I belong in their group as much as I am, also now their manager.
What do you think that did, Chris?
I think it did earn their respect, because I think they didn't see me as just a talking head, or just someone who is going to come in and tell them to, do a bunch of stuff that they know isn't going to be the right thing. Like, some of these engineers had been working with Sunbasket for 7, 8 years. They'd been there since the early days, and they had a lot of um, context around the industry and the business in particular. And it's really easy for someone else to come in with no context and no understanding, and start just being like, "Oh, we need to do this and this and this." And um, so I think I was able to show them that I also had like a very deep understanding of what they were doing, and in doing that, got
Got
them
it.
to sort of get on board with me.
So how long ago was the merger and the layoffs, etc.?
So
Um,
the merger was September 22, and then that first like big layoff hit in October 22.
so October of 2022 were the layoffs. So you've had almost 2.5 years since.
Yeah.
Um, Tell me about just kind of how you kind of have brought the team together in these last 2.5 years. I mean, one of them obviously was showing them that you can ball with the best of them. And obviously your honesty and authenticity. But like, I think once the layoffs go and the sting wears after 6 months, 3 months, whatever that time is, suddenly it's like, okay, how do we win? What are some of the ways that you've gotten buy-in, understanding on how to win?
I think a big part of that is giving them ownership over metrics that they didn't previously have any ownership over. There was a very heavy-handed product team in the past that did not survive the layoff. Um, and that team tended to treat the like most senior technical people as ticket machines. And that is something that I really don't like when I see it, because in general, I believe that engineers should have a voice and should have like a seat at the table when it comes to even getting into like product, even like offering, ideas for how we can better support marketing, or in our case, like the culinary team, and other like non-technical teams. So just having them start to think about like they who owns the conversion rate, right? Like at the end of the day, if the website is down or isn't working or there's bugs, conversion is going to tank. So they're as responsible for the conversion rate as the marketer is for getting people into the top of the funnel or getting them into that sign up flow from the
Right.
get-go. So that gave them the opportunity to actually like care more about what they were doing and give them something to strive for to improve. And we did that across. Having two brands is really exciting because you kind of look under the hood at either one, and that gave a little bit of camaraderie between the two teams, and uh push them a little bit because they could see like, oh, Sunbasket's conversion rate is like better on mobile. Like what
Sure.
can we do at Gobble to like catch up, and just like friendly competition to like you know build relationships.
Right. I got you. What else?
What else? We've I did a book club. We sort of
Really?
instituted a book club, where I would recommend the books for them to read, or I give them like a poll on Slack, and I was like, here are like two or three that I think are going to be really good. You guys can pick which one you want to do now, but you're going to do all of them by the end of the year. And then just letting them sort of self-organize how they do this like monthly meeting, and they've ended up having some like really interesting discussions, and it's helped them like get to know each other and bond. The majority of the Sunbasket team is in Poland. The Gobble team is here in Toronto. So there's a lot of distance for them to traverse, physically. So giving them something that they could do and
That's
like engage with and work together has been, I think that really sort of helped them just like become friends.
that's great. So are these industry related books or just whatever?
I picked like technical ones. Like I have like a big bookshelf over here with like all of my personal library of books, because like I'm also self-taught. Well, I mean, technically, I'm a computer science dropout.
I saw
So
that's where I was going to go with you. Like I've been doing this now for 2 years with CIOs, CTOs, CISOs. You are the first philosophy major with a classics minor that I've chatted with.
I can also tell you before I joined Gobble, I had spent like 2 years as a touring musician
No
with my
kidding.
band. I've toured Europe multiple times, Canada, US. Like I'm a Renaissance man,
I like
I
it.
guess. But yeah, so my from a technology perspective, I'm self-taught. So like all of the books that I leaned on to get me to where I am are the ones that like I hold the most interest in. So I pick from the ones that I am experienced with, that I know will sort of help the teams kind of like level, like get to that next level.
Yeah, got it. So the one thing I do share, Chris, as part of like this whole thing, there's probably going to be 3 or 4 of us up there for the panel. Once we get going, especially because it's usually around 45 minutes or so, don't necessarily wait for my prompt or my question. Maybe as we get off the ground, but if one of your counterparts says something that piques your interest, is familiar, that you want to react to, feel free. It's not necessary, it's meant to be as free-flowing a conversation as we can have. And I think that's
Mhm.
what gets everybody relaxed and into it, etc. So I just always share that with everybody is that that's a big part of this. It's trying to make this as conversational as possible. So um, sure, I'll prompt you. Sure, I'll bring some stuff up. But if something happens that you hear, you're like, and then you want to react to it, do it.
Okay.
All the power to you. So,
All right.
well, I look forward to next Thursday, my man. Should be a great time.
Me too. I'm excited. I haven't done anything like this post-pandemic, so this is going to be
Okay.
a return to form.
Bring your appetite. There's no shortage of food. It's a terrific setup over there at
I
Morton.
mean, I work for a food company,
That's it.
I'm there for it.
There you go. And we can have an offline conversation too if you want about you know what. Okay. I appreciate you, man.
All right. Take care.
Thank you, guys. Have a great rest of your
All
afternoon.
right.
You too.
All
Thanks,
right.
Kate.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.